so this is some of my awesome lucid dreams, out-of-body experience, virtual reality experiences. But here's the two examples of my A+ dream dreams that I had this morning and when was it? A couple days ago. And this morning, it's really cold outside, damn. Kept having to go outside because Truman ran out, and then when I went outside, he was already on the fence. Then he jumped back down in the neighbor's yard, so I have no idea where he's at. But I'm sure he'll come back. He knows where he lives. Hopefully he'll come back. I'm sure he will. But he's been gone for about 3 hours. Okay, so here's two examples of my A+ dream dreams that I had. Okay, I think I'll talk about the one that's fresh in my brain, the one that I had this morning. But it was two back to back. Yeah, it was really cool. Okay, what time is it? Yeah, it was two back to back. Okay, this is kind of hilarious. But, okay. So basically I was checking out a ride, so to speak. Not a roller coaster ride, but a ride at a theme park. Now, I can't remember if the aliens told me, I mean, because this was just a dream, but it was still kind of like an A+ dream. And those little details would go away really, really fast. They didn't really tell me what town I was in, but I was in a totally different town, different city, and of course I felt like I was in a different dimension, because this was just a dream. It just wasn't like virtual reality, feeling like 3D. But yeah, so I did feel like I was in a different dimension, but this is more of a dream where it was still virtual reality, but it felt more artificial, very artificial. And I'm pretty sure they didn't tell me the town I was in. They didn't program that for me. But basically, okay, so I was checking out this ride. So it started out, I was like, I mean, freaking millions of miles up high. And this is kind of hilarious. And I was like scared shitless too. So I was like way up high on this, well, the only thing I guess to call it would be a platform. Oh, and this isn't the first time aliens have given me this experience where I was way up high on a platform. And, oh yeah, that was fun. That was, yeah, that experience is on here. That was like consecutive awesome out-of-body experience, virtual reality experiences. That was pretty cool. But I was actually, they placed me in this town in the scenario, kind of like over there by IHOP. But anyway, okay, so this is like hilarious. Okay, I was so high that when I was looking down, I was kind of like looking down at the people on the ride. I didn't want to ride the ride. I just wanted to observe it. Did I already say that? I think I did. Yeah, so I was way up high on the platform and I was just kind of looking down and observing the people riding the ride basically. Well, they're riding the ride, so to speak, but they weren't really riding a ride. And, okay, I was like so high that I was basically, in space. When I looked down, you could see, the round Earth. You could see Earth. I mean, you could still see, like Earth, planet Earth, basically. It was, like round. I was outside of the atmosphere of Earth, in space, I guess that's what you call it. And I was looking down. I mean, that's how high I was, and I don't know how high that would be. Like, how high do you finally go into space? I don't know. I guess it's, I don't know, 50 miles, 100 miles? I don't know. 20,000. See, I don't know. How high do you have to go to break into space? And then when you're looking down, all you see is a round circle, which is Earth. But, so that's how high I was. And I was just like, wow, I don't want to ride that ride. It looks very scary. Okay, this is hilarious. The reptilians are hilarious. Okay, so basically, because they designed this experience for me. So basically, all the people, it was like in a circle. This ride was in a circle. And all these people were just dangling upside down. Like they were dangling upside down. And I was like, wow, that looks too scary. I don't want to ride that ride. And of course, we were a million miles up there. Except the ride was just a few feet below me, because I was still kind of, a few feet higher than them. Because, or at least at first, that's how high I was. Because I actually saw planet Earth. I mean, that's how freaking high I was. And then a few feet below was the platform. And are you okay, Cesar? Baby, hey. Cesar. 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 Okay, I'm going to check his blood sugar in the morning. Well, see, I've been giving him insulin. Okay, I'll check your blood sugar in the morning. Okay, so, before I give you any more, because I don't trust just giving him insulin twice a day without checking his blood sugar. But I think he's just getting tired. Because I made sure he would eat, and then I'd give it to him. But I'm still going to check it, make sure it's working or whatever. Okay, so basically, so it was basically like, and it was like white people, I don't know, like 8 or 9 white people. They seemed younger, like early 20s. And it was just a ride, and as far as I remember, it was just kind of like in a circle. And as far as I remember, they were just basically, it was basically just kind of rotating in a circle. It wasn't going real fast, but they were just rotating in a circle, kind of slowly. And that's what that was a ride, like amusement park ride. And like I said, this was just a dream, but it was like an A+ dream. And so they were all dangling upside down. And I just remember thinking, wow. And it looked like they were just about to like fall. You know what I'm saying? It looked like they were about to fall. And I was like, wow, there's no protection. There's no protection. There's no mat or anything underneath. You know what I mean? Or on the ground. And so I just remember thinking, that looks so dangerous. I don't want to ride that ride, but I just wanted to observe it. And, okay, so that was, like the beginning part of the, experience. But it was really cool. Just like looking down, and I was so high that I was like out of, I was in the atmosphere. I was in space, basically, looking down. But then it was like, once at one point, I wasn't so high, because I looked down. I was still pretty high, but I looked down, like after I observed the people, like just dangling, and they looked like they were about to fall. And like I say, they were in a circle, and it was just kind of slowly, and that was a ride. Slowly, you just turning. Okay, and so then, when I looked down, at this time I wasn't so high. So then, I looked down, and I saw the ground. I was still kind of high, several stories high. And I looked down, and then I heard like the trams, the noise of the trams and the trains. They were hauling the people, to go to the ride up, way up high. That's what they were doing, picking up the people, for the ride. I don't remember seeing an elevator or anything like that. I don't know how they got up there, but, and it was like those noises that the aliens were copying off of, like when I used to go to Silver Dollar City, like the noise of the train and the trams. So they were copying off of that off my brain from when I used to go to Silver Dollar City. Okay, so the other part of this dream was okay. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm saying everything. Like I said, the patrons were whatever they're called. What are they called? Amusement park goers. Were dangling upside down several miles up. Like, well, I don't know how high I was. Many miles. And I was like, wow, that looks too scary for me to ride. I was like, wow, nothing to protect them if they fall. And then down below, I could hear the trams on the roads taking people to the ride. And I could hear the trams and the trains just like in Silver Dollar City. Okay, the last part of the experience, I ended up in like a room, an enclosed room next to the ride. I was in an enclosed room, let's see, pretty big room, like bigger than this area, like 5 times bigger than this area, maybe 6 times bigger than this area, right here. So I was in a room, but I was still up high, but I didn't feel like I was that up high. At that point, I felt like I was just, I don't know, like 4 or 5 stories. No, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 stories high. And so I was in an enclosed room next to the ride, and me and, like, this is kind of funny, but Derrel Sims was, me and Derrel Sims, well, he was way over there, and I was like, you know, over here, and I was talking about aliens, and I totally remember what I was saying, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but we had, you know, conversations and stuff. He just kind of acted like he didn't want to hear me, but I was telling him, how the aliens could kill you and blah, 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 and he just acted like he didn't want to hear me or whatever, and I was saying a bunch of other stuff too, and he said a bunch of other stuff too, but yeah, and that lasted quite a while, you know, and there was a couple other people too, like a couple other men just kind of standing around, but I didn't interact with them, it was just me and Derrel Sims, and then, like I say, there's a few other men, like, lingering around. But I was definitely still, I don't know, I was either 5 stories or 8 stories. I was definitely up high, but not 1,000 miles up high, out of space. And, but anyway, there was another experience that kind of, well, this was like a vision thing. Back when I was in Texas, I had a similar experience like that where I was, where I was just observing this asteroid tumbling towards the Earth, and I was kind of like out of space. I was in space, but I was observing it. So they kind of probably copied off that same experience they gave me back in 2007. But okay, so but the funny thing is, in real life, just a day before, or just yesterday, because I had the experience this morning, this dream. Yesterday, oh yeah, I was telling my mom that, ow, I scratched myself. I was telling my mom that, the aliens had, like, scratched my neck. And then, anyway, I was talking about that weird, no, not weird guy, that bizarre incident, whatever you call it, where that guy got murdered by the aliens, that Tory Smith or whatever. And so I was telling her, that the aliens could kill people, you know, and I probably shouldn't be saying that to my mom, because that probably does, you know, scare some people. Like, it doesn't scare me, but it probably does scare some people, so I probably don't need to be saying that. But I did tell her that exact same words. I was like, well, yeah, aliens can kill people, and I did tell that to my mom, just in real life, yesterday afternoon, and then this morning I had this experience, this dream. So the aliens put that exact words in this experience, because I was telling Derrel Sims, and he probably already knows all that, you know what I'm saying, that they can kill people. He already knows all that. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows really how much they do it or whatever, but, well, I don't know. I mean, somebody probably has stats on that, but who knows? Okay, but I can't remember if the aliens told me what town I was in. It's very possible they could have. I don't think they did, but because this was just a dream, and sometimes the details disappear really, really fast. But it did feel like I was just in a strange city, in a strange town, and it just felt a lot more artificial, even though it was virtual reality. And, like, it did not feel like 3D, you know, virtual reality, like lucid dreamy dream virtual reality, like artificial virtual reality. Okay, yes, but it was awesome dream. I would say that was A+ dream. Oh, but this other funny, no, this was more, a little more virtual reality 3D, but still kind of a little bit lucid dreamy. This was just a few days ago. I'll just talk about this real fast. Where I was about to do like a clinical research study, because I used to do those paid, I can't believe I did it. You're so stupid when you're young. Like, so stupid. Like, you're really not mature until you're like 35. Okay, so I used to do these paid clinical research studies. So in this experience, I was doing I was about to do a paid, no, I don't know if it was paid, but it's like I was about to do a clinical research study. So I was in, it was like me, my mom, my dad. So we were in the facility. It was just one big room. We were in the facility. And there was just one phlebotomist. And the funny thing was that, like, when I looked at her, she was very odd looking. She just had a very odd face. I mean, and a big old head, big old face. And she was huge. She was a very huge woman. She was a white woman, but very huge. And just a very awkward face, a big face. She was just really weird looking. I mean, she didn't look like an alien, but she was just very weird looking. She was very odd looking. And she, I would say she looked about 30s maybe 38, something like that. But anyway, she was being like a sadistic rag or whatever. And she had, because she was trying to, you know, when you go do those clinical research studies, the clinical research studies, I'm trying to think how many times do they draw blood? Yeah, actually they could do it about 5 times sometimes. That's right. My memory's coming back. Sometimes they would take about 5 vials. They never pricked my finger, but they would take about 5 vials. And I never did. I don't like needles. I never liked needles. But, you know, if you're getting paid, I mean, you know, I didn't mind it since I was getting paid or whatever. And I didn't do them past, let's see, I did one. When was it? The last one I ever did, I was about 28 years old. Oh wow, that was about 20 years ago. Yeah, 28 years old. That was the last one I did. I didn't do them faithfully like 2 or 3 times a year or whatever. Well, there for a while I was doing them faithfully like maybe 1 time a year. And then several years went by, and then the last one I did was outpatient. And that was like, you know, I was 28 years old back then. Either 28 or 29. And I was in Kansas City. That was the last one I did in real life. But yeah, so when you do one of those studies, they do take about 5 vials. But under the scenario, yeah, so she was taking, you know, vials from me and stuff. And she, but also what she did was, she like pricked my finger really hard. And the aliens tried to copy this because sometimes I'll check my blood sugar, you know. And because sometimes I just like to know how, you know, if it's 110 or if it's 89, because 89 is very low for me. But anyway, so sometimes I take my blood sugar or whatever, and I'll prick my finger, but all you need is a tiny little bit of blood. But in the scenario, like, she was being sadistic, and she did it really hard, and it was like a big ball of blood on my finger. And I felt like she was being very sadistic. And then when she took blood from my arm, it was like she did it real sloppily. I don't remember feeling any pain or anything, but she did it very sloppily, haphazardly. And I looked down, and there was like blood all over my, you know what I'm saying? When you take blood, you shouldn't be getting blood all over. There's blood all over my arm like that. I mean, like a big old, you know, because she was stupid and didn't know what she was doing, or she was just being sadistic. But I got the impression that she was being sadistic. Okay, so that was one of my lucid dream, virtual reality, like small, little, short lucid dream, virtual reality lucid dream. And, like I say, all these experiences, I'm out of body. I'm not just like, seeing all these images, like, just seeing all these images. None of my experiences are like that when I go to sleep. Okay, so, okay. Let's see, I already talked about that. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, this other freaking awesome, Dream. I don't know if I think I'm making time to talk about all this. God damn, what time is it? Okay, this other, experience, it was just a dream. This was like about 3 or 4 days ago. And that's not the first time the aliens have done this or placed me on that road on Parkview Street. They've given me tons of scenarios on Parkview Street up there. And, you know, Parkview Street is up there in real life, and so the aliens duplicate that in my scenario and will put me on Parkview Street. And this is not the first time they've, like where I was, like, literally, skiing, like, almost like I was, like, snow skiing down the road. Not the first time they've done this before. But this time, I was actually, it's like I found, like a piece of cardboard off of a box or something, and, I literally got on it and was just like, zzz, like zipping down the, you know, because there's like a hill, and then there's even a bigger hill, and I used to jog down those roads and stuff, and I was like just like zipping down, and it was a blast. It was fun. I mean, this is like an A+ dream. But it felt, that's what I'm saying, it was a dream. It felt very artificial, but it was still fun. And so anyway, so that was the first part of the scenario, where I was, I don't know what you call it, sliding on a board, like, it was fun. Okay, so, and like I said, it's not the first time they give me experiences like that, where I'm either like skiing, or I'm jogging, and like I say, they placed me on that street many times. Okay, so zipping around the hill, curve, on the cardboard packaging. Okay, so then, after I got to the bottom of the hill, you know, I slowed down and I stopped and everything. Then I got off my cardboard dilly-bobber and I walked over to the left, and it was almost as if my dad lived in that house right there. In real life, he doesn't live in that house, but, and, like the front yard, there's no fence in the front yard, and in this scenario, there's like, it's a white house, in real life, and in the scenario, it was like he lived there in that same, like that white house. And so in the front of the yard, I don't know where my mom was, but under the scenario, it was like he just lived there. And, and he was doing yard work and stuff in the back. He was just kind of doing yard work in the back and in the front, and so he was walking around the yard. And so I basically was visiting him after I did the slide board. I'll call it slide boarding. Hey, that's a new sport. Slide boarding. But see, in real life, you wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, but the aliens can make anything happen under my altered state. Because in real life, you wouldn't be able to get on a cardboard and it'd be that damn fun, you know? So, okay, so basically, this is the funny part. Okay, he had an old boat. Okay, let me see. A boat full of, like this weird old boat. I mean, it was a pretty big boat, you know, 7 or 8 feet, you know, by like 4 feet, pretty big boat. And it was full of water, and it was in the front yard, just sitting there in the front yard. But it was just a normal thing that he had in the front yard. So he had a boat full of fish. There's fish in it, and turtles, like water turtles. But the funny thing is, okay, he had a turtle out of the Lord. He put one box. He was collecting box turtles that he found, and he had put one small box turtle in the boat. And the water, you know, was like, you know, it's filled full of water. It was like this deep, you know, 3.5 feet deep, or 4 feet deep maybe. But it was pretty deep. And I knew, like, he told me that he put the box turtle in the boat. And I was thinking in my head, crap, I need to go rescue that turtle. Because the box turtles aren't water turtles. So I went over there, and I was going to try to find the turtle and rescue him. But I didn't want my dad to know, because I didn't want him I don't know, I just didn't want to embarrass him or whatever. So, yeah, I finally took the box turtle out of the boat, and he was like, I think the aliens was trying to copy off of little Davy, because he was real small, like little Davy's a small little turtle. And so that part was kind of funny. But I just knew that, you know, he couldn't survive, you know, in deep water like that. What did he say? Showing me something was. Yeah, and then the other part, after he told me he already put one of the box turtles in the water, he told me to come over and look at another box turtle that he found. And so I went over there, and he was showing me another box turtle, and he was kind of showing me like something was wrong with it. Like, I don't know, it was like something on his shell, you know, didn't look quite right or something. It was healthy, but it's just that he was like trying to show me, like, you know, like a crack, a little chip in the shell or something. But that was like an A+ dream. But that was just kind of funny, because in real life you wouldn't see that, you know, somebody with a big old boat full of water in the front yard, and like them collecting turtles and sticking them in there, or collecting fish and sticking them in there or whatever. But that was fun. It was fun. It was really fun going on the cardboard thing and that was real fun. Okay, well, I hope Truman's about to come back. Okay, so I guess I can talk about all of these. I don't know how much time I have. Okay. Oh, this it's been. Oh, anyway, this is kind of funny. A few weeks ago, the aliens gave me like 3 sexcapades in the previous 14 days, and then they gave me another one with my neighbor, and I mean, it was like very, like, you know, virtual reality and everything, and but it was pretty cool. But they give me like so much fun. But anyway, so that was kind of cool. Oh, it's been a few weeks, so they haven't given me anything like that. But this was like a few weeks ago. They have given me like three sexcapades in the last 14 days, and then they gave me the other one with the neighbor. So they gave me like 4 in like a 2-week period with various people. And the other, I didn't write the other ones down. But anyway, they were fun. But it's been a while since I've had that experience. But those 2 were fresh. I had this morning the one with the amusement park ride, and the oh no, the other one I forgot to tell you about. Oh, okay. So then, oh, that's right. So after the amusement park dream, it bounced over to this other small little dream that was very vivid and clear, but it was just a dream. And the aliens were trying to copy off my brain all this information I already had from when I lived in Austin, Texas. But I found out the information from my 2 friends, Brenda and Linda. Because we would always go to like either Rockport or Corpus Christi or San Antonio. And so we would go that direction on that road. And over to the right was this fairly big house with a lot of acreage. And just right off the highway. I don't know why you'd want to live just right on the highway like that, right on the freeway. And so this was all under the lucid dream and everything, the lucid dream. And so basically, it's like me, Brenda, and Linda, we stopped off. It's like we were traveling, and we stopped off at that house. And because, well, in real life, like I say, they just duplicated all of that under this dream. In real life, Brenda and Linda told me that they got a lot of money because a semi-truck, it was like I forgot what it was, a beer truck or something like that. A beer semi-truck. You know, they got a lot of money from the settlement. And so they bought that, you know, bigger house with a lot of acreage or whatever. And they were Hispanic people. And so I already knew all that information. And then the aliens, I don't know why they wanted to pick that from my brain, but they did for whatever reason. And so they just duplicated that under this dream. But the cool thing was, and I was having all those thoughts, and and we were talking about, oh yeah, the semi truck hit him and they got a big settlement. And but the cool thing was that they had, in real life, there's not really like a creek there, but there was this big old creek, and at first it was like kind of light greenish, and I was like, wow, such beautiful color of the water. And then it kind of turned like kind of more bluish, like light bluish, and it was very rough waters. It was like very rough. And then as I got a little closer to it, I noticed the water just turned like a normal color. And the aliens copied off my brain, because when I first moved to Austin, Texas, when I looked at Lake Travis, the water is like aqua. It's so beautiful because they have, instead of dirt, they have rocks, like white rocks or whatever. So it makes the water aqua color. So the aliens were trying to copy that and making the creek like aqua color and kind of greenish. But then as I got closer to it, I noticed it just turned a regular like dark color. And then it was like really, it was like, what do you call it? What's that called? Like rough, like almost like river water rafting rough. It was like, like really rough waters. And so I started having all these thoughts, like how it was similar to Lake Travis, when I was looking at that creek. And so yeah, the aliens were like copying off of that, because in real life, whenever there'd be floods in Austin, Texas, the Lady Bird what's it called? What was it called before Lady Bird Lake? Town Lake. Oh my God, the waters would be really rough, and then they tell you can't get on it. For some reason, when they get floods, it gets really rough, and so the aliens copied off of that in the scenario and made the little creek at that family's house like really rough. But anyway, that was just kind of weird. But it was still pretty cool. I mean, it was vivid and clear, but it was definitely a dream. Okay, so yeah, I already talked about that, but well, I guess I could talk about the last one, or the last one I have on the sheet. This was a couple weeks ago, and so I was semi-awake, and I kept having this like pain right here in my left side, and I just kept thinking, I know that's not from like gluten. I know that's not from gluten because I haven't eaten any gluten. Like I haven't eaten any wheat or gluten products. I know that's not from, and I just I knew the aliens were somehow taking eggs from me or something. And I know I've caught them doing this at least 3 or 4 other times, but only about 4 times. Because I would be like semi-awake or whatever, and I'd wake up with like all this pain right here. And so I believe they took eggs from me, and that would have been exactly mid-cycle when they took the eggs from me. And like I say, I was borderline awake, but semi-asleep, and I kept feeling that pain. But I did not feel like the aliens were really close to me, so they obviously can still maybe get eggs from you and still be at quite a distance, because I did not feel like they were just right there next to me. And but I do believe they took some eggs from me, and they've done that before at least 4 other times, probably more. But yeah, the other time I remember that was several years ago, and then the other time I remember was back in 2004. But I know, I'm sure they've done it more than that. Okay, so oh yeah, so see, if I would have wrote these down, I probably wouldn't have remembered them. Oh shit, what's that? What? Okay, wait a minute. How's it like some people were being shown? I don't know, maybe I should do this on a... Okay, separate video. Okay, well, anyway, I'll talk about the second one I have on here real quick. Okay, so this was just a very this was like a lucid, very clear lucid. Nah, this was more of a lucid dream, which is a little more virtual reality than a dream. Okay, so I had a very clear lucid dream where I walked into this strange house, and these people, they were like so weird looking. They were like Aboriginal looking people. It was so weird. If you see some of those Aboriginal looking people, they are very weird looking. And in this scenario, and I don't even remember looking at anything like that previous to this experience. Maybe I was, and I don't remember. But so anyway, so these people came to the door, and they were very weird looking. Like I say, they look like Aboriginal people. And the reason why I know that, because I happened to look at some video of Aboriginal people, and I was like, wow, that's what those people look like in this dream, in this lucid dream. Or lucid dream, I mean. And anyway, so there was like snow on the ground. For whatever reason, I walked up to the door, and there was snow on the ground. And all these turtles walked up. These turtles, like box turtles. There was like a tortoise. There was like some tortoises, box turtles. Yeah, and red ear sliders. There was box turtles, red ear sliders, and tortoises. They started like walking up to greet me. And I thought that was weird that they were getting near the snow, since the snow was just outside the door. You know, because a turtle's not going to want to walk up to snow, you know what I mean? And I sort of was halfway standing inside the house and the front, outside of the front door. And I was thinking in my head, these turtles should be sleeping and or brumating, because I knew they should not be getting near the snow, since they are cold-blooded creatures. So yeah, that was kind of weird because, like I say, and I didn't even know how to explain what they look like until I actually saw some Aboriginal people. And I was like, wow, that's what those... They may even looked a little weirder than that, but that's kind of what they look like, these weird-looking people. Okay, so, but that was kind of funny about the turtles. Okay, so anyway... Anyway, this is really weird too. The aliens keep communicating to me through that little game, and I don't really play it very much. I don't, because it's on my other phone. That little Ouija table game, I just happened to play with it. It had been several months. We were at Barnes & Noble's, and I happened to text this guy named, I was texting this guy named Leonard, and right as I did that, they spelled out, this is what they spelled out. Grab Scales Leonard. They're always spelling out Scales and Leonard. I already did a video on that in another video where I actually was asking the aliens to spell out Leonard, and they did at the bookstore. They've done it like 4 or 5 times, several times at the bookstore. Well, the first time they did it, I didn't ask him to do it. The second time around, he was actually there with us, and I asked him to do it, and they did. They spelled out Leonard. And then another time they spelled out, Grab Scales Leonard or Drunk Leonard or something like that. Okay, so this time they spelled out Grab Scales Leonard, right when I was texting Leonard, and that was about a month ago. That was like Saturday night, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I wasn't asking the aliens to spell it out, Leonard this time, but over a year ago I was. I did ask them to spell it out, and they did. It's so weird. Like, they're definitely communicating on that Ouija table, the reptilians. And like I said, you can tell them, spell out Amy, if you have a friend named Amy, and eventually they will. And they had spelled his name out right when he was sitting next to me. Also, on Saturday, and they had spelled his name out, they had spelled his name out right when he was, a year ago, they spelled his name out right when he was sitting next to me, like over a year ago. Okay, so, but one time they did spell it, a couple times they've spelled it Lenord, but the past few times they spelled it out right, the Leonard. And, let's see, spell out something. Oh yeah, okay, and then on that same Saturday night, they had spelled out something about fire and something being burned up, and I kept thinking, is my fire gonna start in the kitchen or something? They spelled out something like that. Well, anyway, and so that was on a Saturday night. So Monday morning at 5 a.m. in real life, my neighbor's house like totally went up in flames, and it's just totally gone now. And like I say, that was about 3 weeks ago. And so anyway, that was kind of weird. I don't know if the aliens were maybe trying to tell me something about the fire or what. Anyway, it's obvious the reptilians are speaking through the gadget game, the Ouija table, on the Android. But anyway, about 6 times now they have spelled out Leonard. And I already have a video on that on YouTube. Yeah, and then that other video, they spelled out survive skills Leonard, grab skills Leonard, and something like drunk Leonard. Well, he does drink. I don't know. I don't think he's an alcoholic, but I know he does like to drink. And that was over a year ago, those other experiences. But I was asking them to spell out Leonard 3 weeks ago, and I just happened to be texting Leonard, and then all of a sudden they spelled it out at the same time. Grab skills Leonard. Okay, and then the other experience, I don't know, I got time. Okay, this is all the same one, I think. Looking out the back door, I thought it was weird that they were moving at night. Oh, yeah, okay. So the last experience... Oh, shit, what time is it? Oh, my God. Okay, I gotta hurry. I gotta go try to find Truman. Okay, No, so lost. Okay, now this other experience was like more like virtual reality experience, like 3D feeling virtual reality experience. Some beings love to give me experiences, like to mess with me, with my head basically, and keep me in my house. And these type of virtual reality experiences, normally I don't know I'm under an altered state till I wake up. Like it feels like they don't let me know that I'm actually, you know, under an altered state. A lot of these experiences where they keep me in my house and they give me this like virtual reality experience. Okay, so the aliens concocted a virtual reality experience this morning. I mean, this was like about a month ago. It was so vivid, and the aliens made me believe that I was still in 3D, meaning I did not know I was in an altered state till I snapped out of the experience, until I woke up. Okay, so this is how it started. So it started like this, and I was sleeping in the front bedroom, and so it started. I was sleeping in my front bedroom, and it started. The altered state started where I got up and went to the back of the house, and looked out the window. I mean, the window of the door. Okay, so I was back behind my house. So I was looking back behind my house. So like I said, I was sleeping up there in the front bedroom, and the altered state started when I was in the front bedroom, and I started walking down the hallway, and I started looking out the bedroom. I started looking out the back like window. I can't remember if I opened the door or not, but I started looking out the window. And so I started looking back behind my house, and all these people were being shown houses at nighttime. Like the real estate agent people were walking around and showing them those houses back there. And this was at nighttime. Like some people were being shown all the houses, and some were actually, some of the real estate agents were actually showing them houses, and some of the people, they look like female, more like college students. And they were actually moving in. They were like carrying boxes and stuff. Some of them were actually moving in. And some of the real estate people were just showing them the houses back there. And this was at nighttime. It was so weird. It was like, because some of my scenarios are like at dark time. It's weird. Or under the scenario, the aliens will make it dark time. And it was dark time. So some of them, I saw the real estate agents showing some of the women, you know, the houses. And then other people were actually taking stuff out of their cars in like, you know, boxes and moving into some of those houses. And this is all under virtual reality. Okay, like all 4 or 5 houses back there lined up, mostly women, were getting out their luggage and furniture to move in. Or luggage and boxes and stuff. And as I was looking at them out my back door, I thought it was weird that they were moving in at nighttime. And since it was nighttime, I kept thinking that some people I kept thinking that they would maybe try to break into my house. You know, because, I don't know, I just felt kind of insecure because, like, there was so many people back there. There's quite a bit of people, like, back there. And it's really weird. Like, under the scenario, it almost felt like that was just, like, some big, it was weird. Like, public. More of a big public, what do you call it? Public street. Well, it is a public street, but under my scenario, like, it just almost seemed like a big public parking lot or something. It's weird. And see, like, right now, it doesn't feel like that. But under my scenario, like, it just almost seemed like there was a big park. Like, a big park, public park. And then, the street and the houses and stuff. It was really weird. And, like, right now, you know, there's no park back there. And, of course, the aliens were trying to copy that probably because I always, thought it kind of looked like it could be a little park back there if those houses weren't there, but they've already built the houses. So the aliens were trying to copy those thoughts and stuff. But anyway, so there were so many people back there, like, moving in and stuff. I kept thinking that some of the people would try to break into my house. Then, the other part of the scenario, I was, when the experience started and I was at my okay, this is kind of weird. But the other part of the scenario, when I was still under altered state and I was back in my front bedroom. And that is where I was sleeping. That was where I was sleeping in real life, was in the front bedroom. And when the experience started, and I think this part was before this other part, but I looked out my front window and my old boss was standing and talking in my front yard. It was so real. It was him. I mean, it was 100% him. And 3 to 4 other people, they were talking to each other. It was my boss, my old boss, that's dead now. My old boss and 3 to 4 other people. I mean, they were just standing there talking. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that part started before this other part. I just forgot I put it backwards on here. Or out of order. And, but it was like so real, and he had the exact same little suit that he always wore. He always wore like 3 or 4 different suits and a blazer thing or whatever you call it. It was 100% him, and he even had the suit on he always wore, like a brown suit. He would wear sometimes like a brown one, a dark brown one, like a gray one, and you know, like a blazer or whatever. In real life, he always wore suits to work. At least 3 to 4 different ones. Some darker brown, some lighter. But of course, it really wasn't him. It was just a replica of him. He was just a replica the aliens created. In real life, like I said, the medical industry killed him. But it was so real. I mean, it was 100% him, even though it really wasn't him. And of course, some people, you know, when they have these kind of experiences and stuff, you know, they really do think, oh, that was my mom. My mom came to visit, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it's really not them. It's, you know, the person thinks it's a spirit or whatever. But it's really just the aliens giving them replicas, duplicates. Virtual reality scenarios. Okay, so this last part was, like, hilarious. And the last part was just, it was perturb me. Like, they're always perturbing me. You know, give me these virtual reality type of experiences, you know, when they keep me in my house. Like, they'll, you know, make me, like that one experience that made me go to the oven, and all the knobs were like spinning, all the knobs and stuff. Okay, so the last part of the scenario, you know, on the same morning, this is the last part of the scenario, about a month ago. after I was observing the women back behind my house and the real estate agent people moving in. Last part of the scenario. That morning, after I was observing the women back behind my house moving in, and after I saw my boss. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that happened first. After I saw my boss looking out the window, I saw my boss, and then I walked down and I saw everybody moving in and the real estate agent people. And so the third part of the scenario. The third part of the scenario, after I saw all the people, and this was at dark time, moving in and the real estate agent people walking around, I saw. I headed back. I was about to go back to bed after I observed that. I was about to walk back to bed. This is all under virtual reality. I was about to walk back to bed when all the lights were turning on in my house. Like all the lights started turning on my house. And because, when I go to bed, I like to turn off all my lights. So all the lights were like turning on, and I had to keep going and shut off this light and that light that kept coming back on. Like all the lights just kept coming on, like that would come on or that would come on, and I'd have to go shut it off, and another light would come on and I'd have to go shut it off, and because I was about to go to bed, but the aliens were trying to perturb me, and by making all the lights come on. So the lights would come on, then I'd have to shut it off, and the other one would come on, and then it would come on again, and I kept trying to shut off the lights and shut off the lights, and they kept flicking back on and flicking back on. And this happened for at least 20 to 30 minutes or so, it seemed. And then finally the lights stayed off. And that was all in a virtual reality, and that was the last part of the scenario. There's some beings that love giving me experiences very similar to that. Just like with the oven, all the knobs, probably the same being. And like I say, I don't know, they just like to perturb you like that. But yeah, I would like try to go, the light would pop on and I'd try to shut it off, and then it would pop back on, and then I'd try to shut it off, then it would pop back on, and then I'd try to shut it off, and pop back on. And finally they did stay off, and so then I proceeded to go back to bed. But like I say, the first part of the experience, I forgot to say it like that, but the first part of the experience was I looked out the window, and my boss was just standing there. It was so real. Anyway, I kind of said all my cool experiences for now. Okay, well, thanks for listening. Hopefully I'll get some experiences by Joel pretty soon. I don't know where he's been.